He's Richard Skinner. I'm Chris Renkel. Breaking down another day of training camp. Skinny, by far one of the hottest days of the year. Some guys were dropping. Some media members maybe wanted to drop. The big takeaway today, though, Luke Combs was here.
Yes, he was.
Are you a big Luke Combs fan?
I'm not going to go to the concert this weekend, but I'll listen to his music. My family is big country music fans, so if I'm in the car with them in their car, I have to listen to country music. So Luke Combs is usually on.
That's fair. I can't name 5 of his songs. Not saying he's good or bad, but I'm just not a country music guy. As for the things that actually matter on the field, we had some injuries. Cam Sample carted off right before the end of practice with a lower leg injury. Amarius Mims went down, left early. Jermaine Burton went down with what seems like an ankle. How concerned are you after what was a pretty brutal day out there?
Yeah, the Cam Sample one, I do think is going to probably wind up being serious. I know nothing other than we saw him in the locker room with his leg propped up, the knee propped up using a scooter. So that would suggest probably something calf, maybe even Achilles, and that's not a good thing whatsoever. Mims says he'll be back at practice tomorrow. He wouldn't say it was heat-related, probably embarrassed that it was. He shouldn't be. He's a big man working in this heat. I saw him at one stage. He put some cold towels around his neck. It looked like he was trying then to go again. He came off, kind of was wobbly a little bit, and then they finally just put him on the cart. So for him to say that he'll be back tomorrow, I assume it was just heat-related and he's going to be fine. Burton did walk off under his own power to the locker room. I would guess with another day off coming Saturday, you wouldn't want to push that on tomorrow's practice, but we'll see. I think Cole Burgess, a rookie wide receiver, and another defensive back who had taken his stuff off, so I don't know who it was, they walked off probably due to heat-related issues, because I was a little surprised some of the bigger guys honestly didn't tap out earlier, and good for them, because this was a this is probably about 15 to 20 minutes longer than what they would usually go, and I get why you're trying to acclimate all those things, get guys in shape, and get not just a good sweat in. This was a great sweat for these guys in, but it was a grueling practice. I was surprised more guys didn't, so maybe it's a sign, really, that there's a lot of guys in pretty doggone good shape.
We heard from both Zac Taylor and Joe Burrow today. Zac Taylor did confirm starters are going to at least get some reps in the first preseason game. We'll see how long, if they play in multiple preseason games. A lot of people not fans of throwing the starting quarterback, especially coming off an injury out there. Burrow says he feels like it's needed and he wants to play.
I think it is. Usually people I think have made too big of a deal of these starters not playing in the preseason. I know you can correlate it to them being 1-9 in the first 2 games of Zac Taylor's career as a head coach, but there's mitigating circumstances. Some of it's been Burrow's health. Some of it was a long snapper got hurt in the middle of a game and that cost him a game. So there's been mitigating circumstances, but he needs to test the wrist. He needs to test it in a physical nature. I think the question was asked of him, are you looking forward to getting hit? He said, no, I think I'm going to get hit. Am I looking forward to it? No, but he knows that, hey, listen, I got to test it somehow. You don't want to test it on the first snap of the first regular season game. I don't think he'll be out there probably long enough to maybe get a series or 2 in at most, get hit a couple of times, see how that feels, see how it feels if he braces himself and all of that stuff. So I do think it's important this year. Maybe not in years in the future, but this year I think it is important he plays, and if he's going to play, the starter should play.
Joe Burrow's wrist continues to be a story because we were told, he's fine, and now it just seems like we've said before, he can't consistently zip it. At one point, it was pointed out he missed 5 straight passes during individual work, one-on-ones. That's, I don't think, has ever happened to my knowledge. I've been here as long as he's been here. They looked bad early. They were able to rebound towards the end. What did today show you about that wrist?
Yeah, he threw a great deep ball to T. Higgins. I had another media member say I thought it was a little underthrown. Well, if it was still a touchdown pass to me. He had a great back shoulder throw to T on another sideline. He also threw an interception. He also had a couple other passes that were a little wonky. I thought, to his point, he was better. I think he's at that point where he's not quite ready to let it all rip yet, and I understand that. I don't know when that will come. It might come next week, ramping up to play in that first preseason game. He's even mentioned, hey, listen, there's sometimes on days I'm working on checkdowns. I never thought of that, and maybe it's BS. I don't think he is. I think he's probably what he's working on that given day. But the times he's had to zip it, he hasn't thrown the ball with the revolutions he throws it with, and I don't think it's overly cause for concern because he's also made some really good throws. He still makes great decisions. I think you'll just slowly see him ramp it up. If we are that joint practice for Indy and he is struggling because he's not going to play in that Indy game, then that's the last one before you start getting ready to play your first game. Then I'd start to worry. I don't think I'm there yet.
The running back position is one that I've wanted to look at over the last couple of days because they put the pads on. Now we can get a sense. Zach Moss, I think, is probably going to be when they go out there for the first series. He'll be out there. But Zach Moss hasn't really broken a lot of big runs. Chase Brown today, though, had a big long run off of a draw, and it's starting to look more and more like he could be that bell cow back of the future down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see them eventually rotate carries. It won't be every other series, however they want to do that. I did think Zach Moss in the red zone drill late in practice, it was a 3rd and 2. He started left into a hole, jump cut back to the right, jump cut again, and accelerated for about a 5 or 6 yard gain. And I mean, it was quick. It wasn't like dancing. It was 2 really good jump cuts. And to see him do that, I mean, that's kind of the role you want him to be. And those are the kind of plays that he does that in some situations. He might turn a 7 yard gain into a 30 yard gain. But Chase Brown, when he gets in the open field with a head of steam going, that dude can flat motor.
All right, another training camp practice down. They have one more on Friday before a day off on Saturday. And hey, we actually get football sooner than later, Skinny. I'm ready for it.
Me too.